This is part 2 of my video on day 7 of the January 6 hearings. And it's bad. The second half, it's pretty bad. Dr. Donald Heaven, the former director of Homeland Security, reported that non-aligned groups, white supremacists, conspiracy groups, mainly the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers, wanted to overthrow the election, but that's not new. Not at all. But it gets even deeper and darker. Kelly Meggs, a member of the Oath Keepers who was arrested for January 6, actually released this Facebook post on December 19th, 2020, not too long after the tweet from Donald Trump came out. Well, we are ready for the rioters. This week, I organized an alliance between the Oath Keepers, Florida 3%ers, and Proud Boys. We have decided to work together and shut this shit down. That shit, obviously, he's talking about is January 6th, the counting of the electoral votes to make Biden the president. Shut this shit down. Yeah. Now, the thing is, a lot of the encrypted texts actually featured maps of Washington between the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers. But however, there are also videos and photos of some prominent Republicans, prominent Trump-supporting Republicans, all around the Oath Keepers, including disgraced retired Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, and obviously people like the FOS, the Friends of Stone, that being Roger Stone. Now, this is an encrypted chat from the FOS, the Friends of Stone, to Stuart Rhodes, the leader of the Oath Keepers. Good point. Anyone who won't be in D.C. needs to be at their state capital, which means they were trying to coordinate attacks in state capitals, not just the U.S. Capitol in Washington. Now, it just keeps getting worse because the days before the January 6th attack, Stuart Rhodes, the Oath Keepers leader, kept screaming and hollering in the crowds, saying it's time to fight, it's time to shut down, we're going to make sure this doesn't happen, oorah. Jesus Christ. More encrypted chats from the Oath Keepers saying, I just got off the phone, he lands at 5, he lands 5th and leaves on the 6th. Now, one of the big things about all of this is that Katrina Pearson, Trump's spokesman and one of the January 6 organizers, didn't want Stone or James or Ali Alexander to be at the January 6 attack. Now, this is a text exchange between Kyle Kramer and Katrina Pearson, POTUS. But just let the crazies be crazy. You can't do anything about them. Katrina Pearson responds, and he likes the crazies, so she had to try and work with everyone. Now, here's a text that's really telling. On January 2nd, from Pearson to Mark Meadows. Good afternoon. Would you mind giving me a call? This January 6 event, this has gotten crazy and desperately needs some direction, please. And here's an email from Pearson to Wren. POTUS expectations are to have something intimate at the ellipse and call on everyone to march at the Capitol. And obviously that happened. And here's a deleted tweet that the president, Donald Trump at the time, actually tried to send, but didn't. I'll be making a big speech at 10 a.m. on January 6th at the Ellipse, south of the White House. Please arrive early. Massive crowds expected. March to the Capitol after. Stop the steal. This should tell you right now that all of it was completely coordinated. And oh boy, Mike Lindell, he got this text from Kyle Kramer. This stays only between us. We are having a second stage at the Supreme Court, again at the Ellipse. POTUS is going to have us march there, the Capitol. It can't get out about the second stage because people will try to sabotage it. It can also not get out about the march because I will be in trouble with the National Park Service and all the agencies, but POTUS is going to call for it unexpectedly. As I said before, this whole thing was completely coordinated. They knew exactly what they were doing. All of them knew exactly what they were doing. And here's a text from Ali Alexander. Tomorrow, Ellipse, then the U.S. Capitol. Trump is supposed to order us to take the Capitol at the end of the speech, but we will see. Well, obviously, that happened. Now, a big part of today's hearings, on the second half of the hearings, let me put it this way, was the congressmen and women spreading lies. On December 21st, Donald Trump met with congressmen, and obviously you know who the usual suspects. Brian Babbitt, Andy Biggs, Matt Gaetz, Louis Gohmert, Paul Gosar, Andy Harris, Jody Hyde, Scott Perry, Jim Jordan, and of course, Mary Jean Taylor Greene, who at that point was just elected. And the subject of that meeting was the John Eastman theory. John Eastman, of course, being one of Donald Trump's attorneys who's probably going to get his ass disbarred or perhaps jailed. And of course, that theory is that the then Vice President, Mike Pence, can somehow overturn the election results. And that wasn't the only time they actually met. On January 4th, Eastman met with Trump and Mike Pence to discuss somehow overturning the election results. Obviously, Pence didn't do it because that would have been illegal and unconstitutional. On January 5th, the day before the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol, the fat walrus, Steve Bannon, whose trial is already going to start sooner or later, sometime probably next week, goes on his little podcast or video or whatever the crap it is, Real America's Voice, and says, and I quote, "All hell is going to break loose tomorrow." At the same time, at Freedom Plaza, Roger Stone, Mike Flynn, Ali Alexander, and Alex Jones fired up the crowd of Trump supporters, screaming for war, screaming that it's going to be a war between good and evil, screaming about the 1776 movement. Take a look at what they said.
This is nothing less than an epic struggle for the future of this country between dark and light, between the godly and the godless, between good and evil. And we will win this fight, or America will step off into 1,000 years of darkness.
Tomorrow, trust me, the American people that are standing on the soil that we are standing on tonight, and they're going to be standing on this soil tomorrow, this is soil that we have fought for, and we will fight for in the future. The members of Congress, the members of the House of Representatives, the members of the United States Senate, those of you who are feeling weak tonight, those of you that don't have the moral fiber in your body, get some tonight, because tomorrow we the people are going to be here, and we want you to know that we will not stand for a lie. We will not stand for a lie.
I want them to know that 1776 is always an option. These degenerates in the deep state are going to give us what we want, or we are going to shut this country down.
1776! 1776! 1776! 1776!
And not too long after that little rally of theirs, where they all spoke at different points in Washington, Donald Trump put this tweet out. Washington is being inundated with people who don't want to see an election victory stolen and emboldened by radical left Democrats. Our country has had enough. They won't take it anymore. We hear you and love you from the Oval Office. Make America great again. That tweet was sent out the day before the January 6th attack. Make no mistake about this. Donald Trump is not some innocent guy who said, oh my God, this happened. I didn't mean for it to happen. He wanted it to happen. He pushed it to happen. But let's talk about the January 6th speech from Donald Trump on the ellipse. Now, multiple drafts of his speech on January 6th didn't include Pence. Didn't even suggest that Mike Pence could overturn the election. However, from 9:52 a.m., and this is coming from the diary of Donald Trump himself on January 6, 2021, from 9:52 a.m. to 10:18 a.m., the president talked with his assistant and senior advisor for policy, Stephen Miller, in which he tried to get Donald Trump not to mention Mike Pence. But unfortunately, after Pence refused to say that he's going to overturn the election results, he said this, and we will see if Mike Pence, one of the drafts of this speech, mind you, said, and we will see if whether Mike Pence enters history as a truly great and courageous leader. All he has to do is refer the illegally submitted electoral votes back to the states that were given false and fraudulent information where they want to recertify. And of course, Donald Trump, they didn't do it. Mike Pence didn't overturn the election, and Joe Biden was inaugurated weeks later. But before all that, January 6th attack happened. Now, the last point of this hearing was the testimony from two Trumpers, well, supposedly former Trumpers, trying to beg for mercy. One man was named, One man was named Stephen Ayers, who's pled guilty to disorderly conduct, who talked about his worship of Trump and believing of the big lie. Like he's supposed to be in the confessional rather than a political hearing in order to make sure that Donald Trump is held responsible for the attack. The other witness is Jason Van Tatenhole, a former spokesman for the Oath Keepers charged with seditious conspiracy stemming from his actions on January 6th. Now, he went on this little sob story about how the January 6th committee, how he became a member of the Oath Keepers, how January 6th was right, blah, 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 whatever. Let me get this straight to you both. You two are not innocent. You guys were fed a bill of goods and you ate them up. You believed Trump's lies. And maybe you're getting a deal to testify. I don't give a shit. But don't think for 1 second that this doesn't exclude you from what happened, for what you did on January 6th, what you did to our country in the name of Donald Trump. Now, before today's public hearing actually ended, Liz Cheney said something that I hope that God isn't true, because Trump shouldn't be that stupid. But considering the fact that we're talking about Donald Trump, he is that fucking stupid. Take a listen to this.
One more item. After our last hearing, President Trump tried to call a witness in our investigation, a witness you have not yet seen in these hearings. That person declined to answer or respond to President Trump's call and instead alerted their lawyer to the call. Their lawyer alerted us. and this committee has supplied that information to the Department of Justice. Let me say one more time, we will take any effort to influence witness testimony very seriously. Thank you.
I hope to God, I'm just not gonna say that. Trump is that fucking stupid. The gloves need to come off now. The January 6th committee needs to call Donald Trump to testify under oath, by force if necessary. If not, he needs to be arrested. Donald Trump is not some ominous god. He's just a man who needs to be held responsible for his actions. I would ask nothing more or less of myself or anyone else around me. Trump needs to be arrested. And if these allegations that Liz Cheney just put out there are true, that he tried to influence someone's testimony, then Donald Trump fucked himself badly. Enough is enough. Donald Trump needs to be arrested, indicted, charged, and put to trial now. CTP, know the truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.